So I decided to hop into a Rush game. I haven't played Rush since Battlefield 3, and I think it's time to return to my favorite game mode. Now, we end up just tearing these guys up, and it became a steamroll. First, what happened is I jump into the LAV with my SWAT mate, and we just start tearing up the first MCOMs, hands down. Then they abandon their ZBQ, that's their LAV for the Chinese side. And then what happens is something weird. I don't know where this other LAV comes from, but it just spawns, and we end up having 3 LAVs, attack helicopter, and a jet. So it gets really, really bad for the other team, and really, really good for me. So I end up going 20-2, and the 2 deaths come from before I jump in the LAV, just from trying to push up the MCOM and try to be a good player. But I don't get any kills because I'm just having a bad round at the beginning. As you guys will notice, I just developed tactics out of my head. At one point in the gameplay at LAV, well, the ZBQ Chinese side, I get that mixed up all the time, but it just starts shooting at us, and I know we're going to lose it. I know we're going to lose. We're already damaged, and I get out and I start distracting it. And this works for a lot of things. People like to go for smaller infantry, and if you're a gunner, try to do as much as you can to help your driver. Now, I'm fortunate to have a really good driver as a SWAT mate. He's really, really wrecking the MCOMs, and I'm just trying to cover his back. I noticed that when I'm a gunner for a tank or a LAV, I try to look where the main gun isn't looking. That way he can catch what I'm not catching, and I can catch what he's not catching. Now, the thing about Dawnbreaker is that there's really 2 ways into the MCOMs. One from the side of the street where the gas line breaks, or you can blow up, or one from the side where the river is. Now, the river is kind of my favorite place to be. It seems like everyone likes to cut in between the MCOMs to either defend A or B, and it's a great vantage point, but a lot of people just like to kind of stick to one side, and you have to make sure your team is trying to cover both. And we take advantage over that, and we end up wrecking them. They cannot defuse the MCOMs, and they get lucky once because my gunner is just out of ammo. But it's just not happening. They are not pushing up. They are not taking back these objectives or this point in the map. Now, what I do like about the ammo situation is that it's not overpowered. It gives limitations to the vehicles. Now, we all had that moment in Battlefield 3 where we would just crouch on the ground because we knew we could not take out that tank in time, and the tanks love to steamroll you. And the LAV was a bit slower to me. I haven't really done a mile test, but it seems like the LAV is faster, but it takes less hits, especially from a tank. Now, you will notice unless you can somehow drive a 30mm shell, you get that later from unlocking and playing with the LAV, but unless you can get that shell first, your 20mm when you just start, shells don't hurt the tanks really at all. And if they do, they kind of just tickle them, and they just kind of just say, hey, it's a free kill. So I will avoid trying to engage tanks with the LAV ZBQ, because you're not going to win unless you try to unlock some different stuff. Now, another attachment that I soon figure out that I have is the TOW missiles. That's the guided missiles. It's similar in the DV-15, that's the attack boat, but I didn't know that they really didn't hurt infantry, and you're going to see me a few times try to crush infantry with these weapons, but I think it's just like the guided missiles from Battlefield 3, where unless you ram somebody straight with the missile, it's not going to pick it up, and it's like it has no explosion radius at all. But it does really work well on vehicles. The LAV can really hold itself against infantry, and it can really help out your team on rush. You may be surprised of how much and how helpful this vehicle can actually be. And I didn't know that you could get an attack helicopter on this map in Rush. Like I said, I've only played a few Rush games before making this commentary. It was probably only one before Dawnbreaker. And I ended up getting a really good store, and I plan to return to it as soon as possible. Now, what you guys are going to notice is that I'm a horrible driver when I don't know the maps. So you'll see me kind of just back up into people and kind of just back up for no reason because I don't know the maps. I don't know what's behind me. Like the Battlefield 3 maps, I have them memorized. I know where mostly every major object that you cannot go through is at. So until I get that memorized in my head, you guys will see some very horrible driving from me. Now you guys already know I'm a horrible driver just in general, but I plan to improve. Now another tip about the gunner, I know that I'm really in just the driver's seat right now, but the gunner, think of it as a universal seat. You're covering the driver, and you will get the majority of kills during the run. But you do have to make sure that the driver isn't eating shells or RPGs. If you see the vehicle got hit by an RPG, and you will know because there will be no lock-on sound, make sure you take that guy out, and don't worry about what infantry you were killing at that point. Your main focus right now is to kill that engineer who was harming the whole vehicle. Don't try to be selfish and, you know, try to get one kill then another. I can understand if a pile of engineers are gathering on you and you just trying to take one at a time. But if you're dealing with a recon player, you should stop and go over to the engineer and make sure that you are dealing with the main threat. That's something that really annoys me in an attack helicopter. I do notice that most of the gunners are kill hawks. They are used to how Battlefield 3 you could just get so many kills from infantry. You didn't really have to go to vehicles. Now they don't help me with the vehicles, even though the vehicles and the AA guns are giving us a lot of harm. Instead they will go for the infantry right beside it. So don't be dumb, play smart, and you will of course get some really good gameplays. Now if you are a gunner, one tip here: help and spot. Spotting is the #1 thing you can do for your team and your driver. And if you're a driver, make sure you're spotting things too, because some people like to face the way the gunner main cannon is facing. Make sure you're spotting people so that they know what you're shooting at. There's really no worse pet peeve than having someone shoot at something and you're really not sure if there's actually something there, or they're just shooting at the wall for fun. Because I notice a lot of the gunners, when they get bored, they have to hear a sound or something to excite them. I do it all the time. Sometimes just when I'm bored, I just kind of squeeze this a bit just to make sure my gun isn't jammed, even though it really can't jam. The game hasn't gotten that realistic yet. But in all other news, I hope I helped you guys. Make sure to look out for, you know, where your gunner is facing, and just hop in an LAV and see how you like it. The armor is a bit light, but it really does tear against infantry, and you will have a lot of fun in it. Now I wanted to cover something just like for the last 3 minutes of this gameplay, and that is that the Xbox One and PS4 is about to come out. And that means that next gen is coming out in almost a week, if not exactly 7 days. But I want to know you guys' thoughts and feelings about it. What are you guys getting? This is going to be more of an interactive video. I haven't really done any really long gameplays or commentaries because I like to stick to one subject, but now I'm just kind of doing it off my head. And tell me if you guys enjoy the video. But I want to know, what are you guys getting for Thanksgiving or Christmas? Anything you would like to tell me, because this is the time. I will I'll be replying to comments. I know that Google Plus is a bit messed up and a lot of people aren't using it. They're boycotting it because they're horrible to me. I can't really reply to everyone's comment. I've been having issues with that. I can't type on my mobile phone. That's where I usually answer you guys' comments because it's so easy. I have really fast thumbs. I text all the time and I find it really easy, and you guys will notice that I haven't been replying to comments because I can't type with a keyboard. I am literally the worst typer of all time. But I hope you guys do have a nice day. Tell me what console or PC you guys are using your graphics card, so on and so on. What's your favorite vehicle? Endless possibilities. I'll see you guys later. If you guys want to see the rest of the gameplay, it's pretty much nothing. I just kill a few more people. I'll see you guys later. Stay awesome, guys.